Yeah,
It's
I heard
so
that.
loud. It's so
Oh, there it
freaking
is.
loud,
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, dude. I have.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome everyone to another Epic Verse live stream.
Hello.
There
We are
are
here.
guns shooting the background in
Hello?
in Ben's house. So
Not in my house, jeez.
Ben's being shot at right now by
The
cannons.
shots are coming from inside the house.
so if you hear any guns ringing out, then and you see Ben start to duck, then you know that there's something crazy going on. So
Yeah. I'm a little terrified. Not
He's
gonna
like a
lie.
superhero. He can dodge bullets.
or something like that. It's their weekly bullet fight. You know, he's trying to live up to Lady Gravemaster standards. You know?
and Ben and I are both sick. We got the Florida flu, the con
right, we
flu.
do.
While
It's
we were
called
down,
the gay.
down there. And so Ben and I
To
were
be
going to
fair,
sound an octave lower and a little more sexy than usual.
Hey,
so
Tonight.
sexy.
It's me, Josiah. How's it going?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
Did everybody get sick? I've not heard from someone who's come
Everyone
back who's
except for
fine.
Krista.
Well,
Oh,
we all know why. Her diet
the
is so
chicken
bad.
nuggets.
Yeah, her diet is so bad, nothing can survive in her body. But her metabolism is also so high that nothing can survive in her body.
So tonight it's just gonna be the four of us, the squad, and
Yes, sir.
we'll make sure to keep you guys entertained with all sorts of crazy stuff about this week, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Stranger Things, Netflix cutting a bunch of woke content and employees, and all sorts of good stuff. So Disbrew, how's it going, man?
I'm good. I've spent the last 48 hours entirely immersed in Kenobi. So I think at this point, even if I
Wow.
enjoyed the show, I no longer would. You can definitely spend too long on a thing, and by the end you're like, oh, just please make it stop. So they don't even give me a week off. I've got the next one on Wednesday as well. So
Man,
life is pain. Life is pain.
I can't wait to get into that because I think the people that have watched it, everyone besides me, will have some various opinions about all of that. So it'll be fun. And we have, of course, the one, the only, the epic Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Dude, it's going, man. It's been a day. I watched Kenobi and made some thoughts on Twitter known. And I've been in a gunfight ever since on Twitter, just dodging people and talking to people, and people have really not been happy.
There's a lot of crossfire going on Twitter right now for Mike. So
Yeah, Mike's getting hunted down.
The numbers are kind of stupid right now. That it's been seen 18,000 times.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been kind of nuts, man. So yeah, we'll definitely get into talking about it. But listen, I'm glad to be here with you guys. I was on Minging with Mazza yesterday for a little bit, and the comparison between Minging with Mazza to not here, night and day difference. It's like just hanging out with your buddies versus literally being in a torture chamber. Yeah. Ben, what is going on outside of your house? Now this sounds like somebody's farting. It sounds like somebody's like right next to you and they're just like, yeah.
I wish I knew. It might be because Memorial Day is Memorial Day weekend. It might be fireworks, I'm going to be honest, but that
makes more sense. That's probably what's going on.
I can't tell.
Yeah. I mean, you're not in the Heights, so you shouldn't be hearing too much gunfire outside your house. So.
Should be fine.
Should be good. We already got a super chat too, by the way.
We did. From the man himself, Christopher Arcella. OMFG, Ben's background is even more bland than I ever expected. He exceeded expectations. Ben is the fail hero we never knew we needed.
Wow.
How do you feel about that, Ben?
It's lovely.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I can't tell if that's like a compliment or just I don't know.
It's a compliment, Ben.
Just take it. Just take
all
it.
press is good press.
Just take what Christopher gives you
true.
and enjoy it.
I know it's
I'd rather not, especially when you put it that way.
Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate that. And of course, we have Mr. Sicky down here.
Mr. Sicky.
Be
epic. Be pick. Be pick. Be epic. Ben.
Be pick Ben.
Yeah. Well.
How's it going?
I'm all right. I've been better.
Have you recovered from Florida yet?
No.
Yeah,
I felt
yeah.
worse. I've progressively felt worse every day.
I watched
The more
Jeremy
you talked, the
stream.
worse
And
you sounded then.
I watched Jeremy streaming earlier, and he coughed all over his mic, and I was like, "Ew, Jeremy spread a disease."
Dude,
and his
Jeremy
only
spread his
response
disease
was,
to us.
he was like, "Shut up, Mike." And I was like, "Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's
Mike
I'm
literally.
it's been pretty rough actually.
Yeah.
Like the night after, or the day after I got back from Florida, I woke up and I just like felt horrible. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a lot of chest and throat stuff.
Yeah.
For me,
It's all been it's been my chest.
got that
and my head.
monkeypox."
Good old
The
monkey
best thing
pox.
Everyone's using those foam covers over the mics as well, which is just like a
Mhm.
perfect breeding ground.
Oh man, yeah, never gonna recover.
Exactly.
Just gonna keep sucking germs back inside.
Dude, I guarantee. I think Jeremy spread it to everybody. I think that's what actually happened.
Well, he
I blame
didn't get it
Jeremy.
first. It was I think it was Johnny that was sick.
It was Johnny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Oh,
So
yeah, he
Johnny,
was the petri dish.
I mean, Johnny is how can I say this? He's a tender fellow. Let's just put it that way. And we found that out after this trip, and especially after he was the first one that got sick, and then he spread it to everyone else on the team, except for Krista, who somehow made it out of there.
Yeah,
unharmed.
somehow Chris is fine, and she like sat in the front seat next to Jeremy and next to Johnny,
Yes,
and everything. So either she's just
straight, it's her metabolism. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
The way she's just like her body, the fact that she goes to bed every night and eats cookies pisses me off to no end, because I don't go to bed eating cookies. I'll just eat like a couple cookies here or there, and I'm fat. And then I look over at Krista, and she's still skinny and small. Pisses me off.
She is very skinny. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
a
really
little
crazy.
It is a little crazy.
By the way, just a weird thought, I had a really weird thought today before we
Yeah.
started this stream. We haven't met Disparu yet, but that will happen eventually. What if Disparu's like a giant? What if he's
No, I'm 6 foot.
that's still pretty tall.
That's pretty tall.
That's like as tall as me.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
Weird.
I
tall.
think 6 foot's about as tall as you can get before people start to think, no, you're really tall. Like, no one's impressed if you're 6 foot. But you go above that, it's like, wow, you're 6'3".
yeah.
Because like Ben is, I think, taller than both me and Josiah, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Ben, it doesn't feel like he's taller than us
No.
yet until he starts working out and gets jacked.
Yeah.
But like Josiah is like a bear. Like Josiah, like he seems really tall, but he's not taller than Ben. But he seems like he could be. It's weird. But I feel like we're gonna meet Disparu. What if he's just like terrifying? What if he says he's 6 foot, but he's like 7 foot? He's measuring feet. Yeah, he's measuring feet in UK, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 6 foot, right? That's what it equals out to." And it's like, no,
Yeah, in
And he's
British
actually
feet,
like
yeah, we have a different
7
measuring
feet or
system.
something.
There was a NASA project like that. The Americans and the Brits worked together, and the whole idea was this kind of satellite inflated and then bounced onto Mars, and instead it just crashed into it at full speed because the Americans were using one measurement system and we were using the next, and it thought that Mars was like 1,000 miles away, and it just smashed straight into it.
Oh man, that's really funny. Betty Boop says she's 4'11".
That is wow.
Holy cow, that's
Wow.
tiny.
Yeah, that's very tiny.
Tiny.
Jimmy
Um
Max says he's 6'2" though.
yeah, I mean that's why the metric system should be banned, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cancel it.
Oh, we're worse. We use everything basically. Like our temperatures, I think they've kind of standardized it now, but when I was a kid, if it was cold, we'd use Celsius. If it was hot, we'd use Fahrenheit. So that it either
really?
sounds colder than it is or feels warmer than it is because of our weather.
Wow,
That's-
that's just
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah,
That's
then we
way too
measure
confusing.
ourselves. We measure ourselves in stone and pounds, but then we'll use kilograms for everything else. It's weird.
I don't even know what to think about that. That's crazy. Wow.
Mm.
I can barely figure out feet half the time. We start getting into millimeters and stuff. Done. I've lost it.
Yeah.
I measure yards by just taking long strides
Yeah.
because
mean-
that's how they do it in football. So
Yeah. Yep. And I think a meter is kind of like a yard, right?
yeah,
Like
meters.
Yeah,
feet,
it's
yards,
it's
feet.
supposed to be like like just over
That's
3 feet or something.
Literally, I just take long strides. I go, that's about 3 feet. Pretty good.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nice a meter.
I also measure, and this is no joke. From the tip of my elbow to the tip of my finger is exactly 18 inches. Like there's no, it is exactly 18. So I measure everything with
Which
like
finger?
if somebody's like, oh, my middle finger,
Oh, okay.
this one right here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if I like measure something, if I don't have a tape measurer, I'll lay my arm out and mark it with my arm because it's exactly 18 inches. It pisses people off, but then they're like, "Oh wow, you're actually right." And I was like, "Yeah, 18 inches,
Thanks.
man."
Oh man, look at this. Christopher Arcella with a $10 super chat.
No.
Thank you, Christopher. I watched Josiah and Ben's old top 10 Disney films from Weird. I have now come to understand why Jeremy and Mike bullies.
I'm really
so much.
curious
It makes
though.
sense now.
What were those? I can't remember.
I mean, that was like 7 years ago. I don't remember.
I don't remember
Yikes.
either. It's probably the same though for me. So
we should pull that up and watch it.
we should.
Don't make everybody do that. It's 12 minutes long.
Yeah, I think all of our episodes were kind of like 12.
Yeah, they're around that.
Wait till you see if it just
It's-
Disparate Seasons. You go, that's not the same people. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's insane. So down in Florida, we did like a reaction where we had the whole Geeks and Gamers team, and we all reacted to the first episode from We Are Geek, and it was hilarious. There was so much stuff that happened in there that I was like, wait, did I actually just say that? Like, what?
It was
Yeah,
so
is that the
it was
one-
so funny.
Is that the one where you look at the camera and go, "I love diversity"? 'Cause I've seen
Yeah.
clips of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Josiah's exposed. That's my Last Jedi. I love the Last Jedi moment. So
Yeah, I love diversity. I'm like, everybody's like, dude, I didn't even know what was happening, and everybody's like, hey, do you like diversity? Because Josiah sure does. And I'm like, sure, whatever that means.
Just look straight at the camera as well. Like, I need to focus for this.
The
Yeah.
funny thing is that in the context of what I was talking about in there, I was talking about like diversity of opinions.
Mhm.
Oh,
But when you just take that little section where I just say, and I love diversity, then it sounds hilarious just on its
It's
face.
just funny because you can take it and skew it to whatever
Mhm.
reasons you want to, especially if
Yeah.
you're making a video.
Well,
So like that's
Yeah, that's the funny
Yeah.
thing with like Jeremy's like The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi clip. Like right after that, he
didn't he mean to say I love
immediately-
The Force Awakens?
Yes, yep.
Mhm.
And he was talking about The Last Jedi, but he meant to say The Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens, but he said The Last Jedi because he was talking about The Last Jedi. So in the context, if you actually watch the whole video without that clip edited out, then you would understand that he wasn't actually talking about The Last Jedi. But
Yeah.
My favorite part about it is Josiah messaged me about that video. He goes, dude, look at this.
yeah,
And it's Jeremy, and he's like,
Mhm.
I love The Last Jedi. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
goes, that's great, right? And then he posts it, and I've had people yell at me. They're like, I found a clip of Jeremy saying he loves The Last Jedi, and he completely backpedaled on it. And I was
Yeah,
like, no, that was
yeah.
a clip. And they're like, yeah, I bet it was. And I'm like,
And you're like, no, I literally was there when that happened.
yeah,
And
like Josiah messaged it to me, and they're like, "Oh, sure,
And
buddy."
they're like,
whatever you
sure.
say." Yeah, it's pretty great. Wow.
Xanaximus, thank you so much for that spicy $10 super chat. Hail to you, gentlemen. Ben, looking forward to this. Thank you so much,
Heck
man. I
yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that a lot.
Oh,
Sorry, half
geez,
of us
drunk
are
three
straight.
peels in the chat. Is Ben still mad at me?
Ben,
Ben.
will always be mad at you.
Are you
So-
mad at drunk 3PO?
what was the Twitch for? It was like
yeah.
just at his name. You're like, oh no. It was like a nervous reaction.
Drunk 3PO.
No, I'm not mad at Jay.
You took so long to answer that question.
Yeah,
that
really
was,
consider it.
That
what
was
what were you
disconcerting.
typing? What did you need to type to get past that? He's like
Ben, are you okay?
checking him
Yeah,
off his
I'm
Ben,
sorry.
list.
Ben's like his anger management
look at
person.
Ben's face. Ben looks like he's like freaking out right now. Like he just got a
Oh, no,
message
he's
from the
arrived.
FBI or something.
Drunk 3PO.
I've got so many tabs open on my computer. I'm really confused. So I'm trying to look around all of them, and so I'm like,
That was the
just-
face
God,
I made
man.
when I got demonetized by YouTube.
What the hell? No, it can't be. Ben saw things in Orlando. Is what drunk 3PO is.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
so
did see some
there were
things in
some
Orlando.
surprising takeaways from Orlando. The most surprising takeaway from that entire trip was that Ben and Ryan became like best friends from that trip. And
That's
on the way
yeah.
down there, Ben was like, "I'm gonna totally hate Ryan. Like, there's nothing that's gonna happen here that's gonna make me like this guy." And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. Ryan is probably going to hate you too. And then we get down there and they just like bonded in this really deep and passionate
Didn't make
way.
any sense.
Sounds like they had sex. Is that
Yeah,
you
that's
caught
how the
gig?
bug
I
spread
mean,
between them.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna confirm or deny, but
We can't go into those details.
Drunk
But,
Freebio again says Ben.
he said ban saw things. Ban saw things.
Ben something.
Norway.
Oh, Ben.
He changed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, look
Yeah.
at Christopher Varcella. Ben and Ryan. Ben's now my number one favorite. Look at that.
Wow. Apparently, you just got to be a
He's
Ryan.
overtaken
simp and
Ryan
you'll
now.
become a
Yeah.
Apparently.
No, I mean, it's crazy.
So yeah, Orlando was fun. Florida was fun. The only thing that would have made it better was to have Disparu and Mike down there as well.
It would've been
and
great.
then it would have been awesome.
I mean, to be
So-
fair, Mike was there.
True, we did have Mike
It
there.
was like
actually.
dollar store
That's-
version of Mike, though.
That's
Was
not a
that
thing.
brought there, or did you find that there and think
We found
we'd
it.
go
There.
buy it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
They took it.
yeah, I had the idea. I was like, you know, we should just like make Mike so that he's here with us.
Exactly.
And so at first we were going to do like a volleyball and get like an afro wig and put it on there. And then we were like, oh, look at this little plant. And we were like, oh, that kind of looks like Mike. Like the hair. It looks like the hair. And
Sons of bitches.
and then we saw the brown pot and we are like, oh, this is perfect.
It's Mike. It's Mike right there.
The thing is, nobody mentioned this shit to me at all. I have no idea what's happening. And I see a picture of Krista and Chrissy Mayer, like looking like they're sweeping the floor or some shit like that. And I was like, that's really funny. For some reason, I have no idea why this happened. In the back of the picture, I was like, hold on a second. What does that say? And it's a cardboard sign that says it's a conspiracy. And I was like, you sons of bitches thought I wouldn't notice this? Nobody sent it to me. I caught it in the background. It's like they wanted me to know.
So apparently,
best
if you
way to
need
deliver
someone to find Easter eggs for you, Mike is your guy.
Apparently, because I saw it so fast too, and I zoomed in on it. I was like, they didn't. And I
Mike
saw that
was like,
fucking
no.
plant next to it, and I was like, they didn't.
Oh no, we did, Mike.
Oh.
That was
did.
hilarious. It was so fun.
Yeah,
At
it
one
was
point you got
good.
dropped in the pool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drowned apparently.
Dude, everything was great. Jeremy absolutely did forget about me. But besides that, yeah, it was fine. It was great.
Did Jeremy leave you somewhere, Ben? Did you get?
You know,
You sound
No.
really traumatized.
He's still there. He just bought a black background.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm
I'm still
here.
here.
I've been here.
He kidnapped me and
wow,
then left
man.
me somewhere.
Well, I'm glad you
Yeah.
guys had a good time in Florida. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, that was all very happy stuff to kind of hash out there, but we should probably move into something that isn't
Real
quite so pleasant.
Hold on, I gotta
Wow.
find this real quick. I found the picture.
I don't know. I
need to
like pleasant conversation.
I need to share this. Can
Okay.
I share my screen?
Yeah,
I
go
can
for
make
it.
any conversation pleasant.
All right. Oh shoot! Hold on. I don't know which screen I'm sharing.
Spit it out, Mike. Spit it out.
There we go. All right. So yeah. So this is the picture, and I was like, "Oh, it's Chrissy and Krista. That's kind of funny." And it was almost like a split. I was like, "Hold on a second. And I look. That's me.
Zoom in.
Right
enhance.
fucking there in the back,
it's
and I caught
like
it
that-
right away.
like
That
that
was-
scene. It's like a scene from Batman or something.
You're
So
like, wait a
funny.
minute.
Focus
Yeah.
on Drid's E7.
Yeah, enhance. Yeah, I was so. Wow.
So good.
It's
So
amazing.
good. Yeah. So let's talk about Obi-Wan.
No, I don't want to.
Obi-Wan
Move on. Moving
Kenobi. Before we get to that, holy guacamole, we have a $50 super chat from Low Watermark. Glad you survived the Orlando plague.
I haven't survived it yet. I'm trying to survive it.
Yeah, Mike or Ben and I, we both got the con flu while we were down there, so we didn't fully survive, but hopefully we'll recover fast. And I mean, I probably should try to get like a good night's rest. That'd probably help, but you know,
Yeah.
getting
But you
just
don't.
like 4 hours a night isn't gonna help anything with
Yeah,
that.
your
No,
but-
it's not gonna
sleep
make you
schedule
feel
doesn't
better.
Fucking work. Yeah, congratulations. I was
but-
right. As he sips on a Bang Energy, he's like, I gotta get some sleep tonight. You know.
Probably have a little bit of whiskey and honey later too to kind of help with try to knock that out.
That's not how that goes.
Low watermark. Thank you so much for that $50 super chat. That is absolutely insane. That is awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ripper says that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
So, let's start with Ben. Let's hear what Ben has to say about.
Oh snap! You want to start with me?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Ben. Let's hear what you got to say.
Okay, that's okay. Obi-Wan. Well,
All right, shut up, Ben. Hold on, we got another super chat here. Abomination. Thank you for the $10 super chat. If you guys want Ben to stop talking at any point, just send a super chat and we'll
throw it out there and he'll just
thanks.
cut him right off.
Trying to get that channel plug. Looking forward to collaborating in the future. Please get back to me ASAP. Willing to lend my talents to the cause. Thank you so much, Abomination. I appreciate that. I have seen your emails that you've sent, and I will get back to you at some point. So I have so many emails that I need to get caught up on from Orlando. So yeah, I'll get back to you soon, man. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
All right, Ben, floor is yours.
Floor is mine. So I think the best way to put my relationship with this show so far is very conflicted. And I mentioned this in my video, that there are things about it that I like, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't like. And I think that the show really shines when it focuses on Obi-Wan and his actual like trauma from the past years, and like that kind of guilt from like letting Anakin die or like killing Anakin and things like that. I like when they focus on that, but that's like such a small part of the show. They don't really focus on that a whole lot. And so I feel like that kind of gets lost amidst whatever else they're trying to do. So it's like there's so many storytelling elements that I just don't think work very well. And I think they've been done better, if that makes sense. So like I don't want to spoil anything if nobody's watched it and they want to watch it still. But there is a
Betty
there's
Boop, thank
Ben,
you for the
stop.
$2 super chat.
Oh,
Betty Boop says red light. So
thank you, Betty Boop.
She's just saying stop. That's okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty Boop. Appreciate that.
Hold on,
all right, go ahead, Ben. Floor's yours.
But yeah, so anyway, they introduce a whole...
Betty Boop
Ben,
says
stop!
that you can go now. She says that you can go. So
she says
go.
green light. Thank you, Betty Boop. Go ahead, Ben.
So anyway, I think that a standout for me is Ewan McGregor. I mean, I love the guy. He really does play the character as best as he can, especially with the source material he has, and I applaud him for that. And there are a few things that I am really looking forward to in the show, but from the 2 episodes that we got, there was just a lot of stuff that I didn't really love, and I thought the writing was at best. It was kind of meh for the most part, and Dis was trying not to laugh. All
right, stop, Ben.
Come in.
I feel like I can't even get a thought in.
It wasn't at you. It was at the chat.
Okay.
All right, Betty says you can go again. Go ahead, Ben.
You're good, Ben.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so long story short, I think the show is meh, and I wish it was better. And there are just a lot of things that I don't really like. But that being said, there are quite a few things that I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to see them. I just don't think that's going to save the show in its entirety.
Ben, stop!
All right.
What? Why?
Christopher Arcello, thank you for the $2 super chat. Ben's speech pattern moves like molasses.
Yeah, the only reason it moves like molasses is because these idiots.
What's the matter, Ben? Listen, they're spending their hard-earned money to talk to us. What's the problem?
But
Betty Boop, thank you for the $2 super chat. Ben eliminated. Bye.
But I you know what?
Thank you so much, Betty. Appreciate that.
I'll just read.
Betty.
to sum it up here, how about this? I'll just read my tweet that I made earlier.
Okay,
Why didn't
you
you
do
start
that.
off?
I
with that,
said
then?
Obi-Wan is okay. There are some scenes and things that I really liked. I just can't help but feel like the heart of the show is a little lost. I don't mind the idea of a new Inquisitor character, but this is Obi-Wan's show, and I can't help but feel our focus is being pulled away. And that really just kind of sums up my thoughts on the show.
All right, I just have to say, okay, I haven't seen the show because Duck Fisney, and I'm not going to give them any money whatsoever.
Don't even
when it
act like
comes
this
to-
has anything to do with you not liking Disney. You don't watch Star Wars. Period.
I mean, I'm literally the one that's not subscribed to Disney Plus, unlike some other people here that
Well,
I could
listen,
point fingers to.
You
But
can point fingers all day long.
I just
All
want
I'm
to say,
saying is-
I just want to say, if Ben is saying that this show is meh, that must mean that the show is freaking terrible, because Ben is very, very gracious to pretty much everything that Star Wars has put out up to this point. So,
I mean, you're not wrong.
all right, shut up, Ben. I love you,
Stop,
Ben.
Ben. Thank you, Christopher Arcella. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. And Ben loves you too, right, Ben?
Rob 3PL
Well-
said, "Is he reading?"
Betty Boop says, no tweet.
I'm trying so hard.
I've
not
created
to
a
laugh.
monster. What have I
Ben's
done?
gonna- Ben's gonna leave.
Okay, I did want to
Okay.
point this out.
Yeah.
Something that maybe not a lot of people know, but if you followed Star Wars closely for the last 10 years, then you might. I
Mhm.
think that there is, for at least from what I'm understanding, the way I see this story going, it reminds me a little bit of the second. Holy cow!
Wow.
The,
Ben Duck.
Yeah, that was loud.
It reminds me a little bit of the second sister storyline in Jedi Fallen Order.
Ben, stop.
I wasn't even sure if you were faking that one.
Love that Ben is here. If only he talked more.
Yeah, I don't know why Ben's being so quiet today, guys. Listen, I apologize for Ben being so quiet today. He's normally more talkative than this, and it's kind of frustrating. But...
I don't even
All right.
know how this started.
All right, Ben, go ahead.
But okay. So Jedi Fallen Order, a game that I really love. I really enjoyed the storyline that they put in there with Second Sister, who's one of the Inquisitors. And to me, it feels like they're trying to do that in this show, but they're doing it with a different character. And they're also doing it in an Obi-Wan show instead of making it, about Obi-Wan. So it feels like the
Mhm.
focus is being pulled towards that character,
Right.
which in my opinion was fine in the video game because that made sense. And it made sense for Cal's journey as a main character too. And that's because he was able to relate to her, and it made like this interesting like dynamic there. But I don't feel like they have that in Obi-Wan. It feels more like she's there. There's like this grudge for Obi-Wan, which hasn't really been explained yet, even though we already kind of get the idea of what it's supposed to be. But it doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot there. And then it just feels like that is taking away a lot of the focus of Obi-Wan. So like I said, I'm totally fine if they do that in a singular story that's just set apart. But in an Obi-Wan show, it doesn't make a lot of sense to put that there. And it just doesn't. And,
the bipolar god of science fiction. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Farting in the super chat. Ben, can you make a fart noise? Nice. That was pretty good, actually.
That was
Good
pretty
job.
good.
That was
But-
juicy.
I don't know. So yes, I
mean, isn't that kind of what they've been doing with a lot of pretty much everything that Disney Star Wars has put out, is to, like, take the focus away from legacy characters? And...
I don't even know if I'd say that, because to me this is the first time it's felt completely different to me. And I think it's maybe because they've done a similar thing, but they've done it better. And I'm just like, why? You've already done this once. Like, there's no reason to do it again. So it feels like it's specifically the storyline they're doing. It's not even it's something different. It's specifically this one. It's like I've seen it before for an Inquisitor specifically. Like, that's why it's so frustrating to me. And I know there's a bunch of people out there who have read all these leaks and stuff. And from what I understand, it seems like the leaks may be true. I haven't dabbled in that, but I kind of get an idea of where it's going. And
the ones for the first episode have been confirmed as these are showing, and they were done 2 months ago. So it looks like the later ones.
So chances are the later ones are, and from what I understand, and from where I'm kind of getting an idea where it's gonna go, and I don't really like that as a creative decision. So yeah, it's just I'm just very conflicted about
Betty
the
Boop!
whole thing.
Thank you for the $3 super sticker. And Betty Boop, once again, coming in hot with another $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Betty. Appreciate that. That is freaking awesome.
I love how there's just this lie in the chat. Ben also described the Halo show as a tour de force. I didn't even watch Halo.
Yeah, maybe you're just starting to finally wake up to Disney's nonsense.
I think there are certain stories that I prefer the way they're told, and there's certain things that I will defend and certain things I won't. But once again, we all have opinions, and my opinion just tends to line up with some more people this time around.
What did you think of the acting quality of the show?
Christopher Arcella, thank you for the $5 super chat. One question. How did Ben in his We Are Geek days look like a 14-year-old boy, and 6 years later he looks like he's 40 years old?
Once again, insulting. I don't know.
He's a dad now, so that's probably
true. Literally becoming a dad ages you so much. What did I think of the acting quality? I thought
Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate that.
I thought Ewan was good, but I also thought that everybody else was just okay because I don't think that's necessarily an acting problem. I think that's a writing problem more than anything else. So, because I know they've got good actors cast in these roles, so I wouldn't say that that's technically even an acting problem. I'd say that starts with your dialogue first before anything else. But I thought Ewan was the best, and I think he's going to be the best in the entire show. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that because I think he's one person who genuinely just does care about his character. But I feel like everybody else just kind of is there. And you know, I have absolutely nothing against the actress who plays the Inquisitor. I can't remember her name. I apologize. But Riva. But I just think that, I mean, I don't like her character, but I don't think that has to do with the actress. I just really don't like her character. I just don't think she's a well-written character.
Betty Boop! Thank you for the $2 super chat. Ben, shh, it's okay. You'll get another turn.
Wow.
Thank you, Betty Boop. Appreciate
that. But yeah,
that.
so Disper, I'd say it's mostly, in my opinion, it's mostly writing more than even acting. Because I think that can really, like, if an actor, even if they're really good, has a terrible script, then a lot of the time that can hamper the performance.
You want to hear something crazy? Mike hates Ewan McGregor,
which is really sad because I freaking love.
I don't hate Ewan McGregor. I don't like Ewan McGregor. I hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, well,
if I was driving down the road, we have the trolley problem. You have Jake Gyllenhaal, you have Ewan McGregor, and if I can't make the multi-track drift and hit them both, it's running over Jake.
Wow.
If I can't get it to multi-track drift,
that's really sad.
Hitting Jake. Now, Ben Affleck, Ewan, and Jake, it would still be Jake.
Wow.
I don't know if we're talking spoilers for the show. I mean, I can if people are fine with that, but I did also think that I thought that the little girl who was Leia was fine. I thought there were some moments that she was good. I thought the rest of them were really bad. But she just kind of was like here. But besides that,
yeah, the two characters I had in mind when I asked, it wasn't so much Ewan, it was Leia and the Grand Inquisitor. I thought both of them just delivered like a block of wood.
I thought the Grand Inquisitor, that's another thing, and I'm sure I like it. This is something that if they can keep it this way, it will make me really mad. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars Rebels, so with I don't know if it's supposed to be a twist or whatever happened to the Grand Inquisitor in episode 2. If they keep that way, that's going to be really frustrating because basically that retcons Star Wars Rebels, and I love that show. So, and obviously Star Wars Rebels is supposed to be canon. So technically they'd be really stupid to keep that way, but I don't know what they're going to do to resolve that.
Yeah.
There was a couple canon breaking things. This has felt the most canon breaky of anything so far to me. So
I think they will have an attitude that movies and live action stuff just takes precedence and they can kind of do what they want.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
the
sure they care
animation's
about
so
going against.
good. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah, but I don't think they'll see that as like a
Yeah.
lesser medium.
Right.
Disparu, what are your thoughts about Obi-Wan?
Oh, I thought the first episode was boring, and I thought the second episode was awful. And the thing is, unless we do go into spoilers, it's very difficult to describe why. Because some of the decisions that the characters make, like Leia, they're trying to make out that she's some really insightful, intelligent person, and then she makes some of the most ridiculous decisions that it's possible to make as a character. Including one, which I don't know how it's justified her doing it, and then she has the nerve to blame other people for her own actions, and I particularly despise that. Reva, they're kind of... She gets talked down to a lot by everyone else, and you'd assume that they would know each other's strengths, so that would be accurate, but the show keeps trying to make out how powerful she is and showing her doing all of this stuff, even though it doesn't really achieve anything, but they're desperate to show you her power rather than anybody else's. And I do feel like, especially in the second episode, Leia and Reva overshadowed Obi-Wan, and I also don't like how they're... and I can understand technically why they've done it, but when I want to see something in Star Wars, especially when you got a Jedi involved, I want to see him fighting with force powers and lightsabers. And it's not what you get.
Yeah, let's go ahead and chat. We're going to talk spoilers for the show. I put a pinned comment for it in the chat as well, that we're doing a spoilers chat as well. So if anybody for some reason wants to watch the show, then go ahead and bounce if you don't want to be spoiled for that. So the gates are open, everyone. So before we get into that, Ben, Christopher Arcella, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, I gotta head out. Fun hanging out here and causing some chaotic fun. Glad Ben, Mike, and Josiah are back together. I love these three stooges together. Thank you so much, Christopher. Appreciate that.
We love you, Christopher.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Ben especially just loves you more than anything. We always look forward to having you around. So thank you so much.
I did want to point out, actually, Disper, now that when you said that was actually one of the few things that I did like, just because I thought it made sense with what they were trying to do with Obi-Wan, which does make sense. The dude hasn't used the Force or wielded a lightsaber in 10 years. So it made sense. And I liked that him eventually like finding that ability to like use the Force again, even though it's been so long, and like him being rusty. I liked that. And that's like the cheesier side that I thought was fine. It wasn't harmless. It was harmless and I enjoyed it. But besides that, like the decision making of certain characters, like you said, is really terrible. And also, how are these grown men not able to catch this little kid?
Yes,
I didn't understand that. I was sitting there, I was like, they ran into like a log, and there was like, I was like, how did they not?
Obi-Wan needs a Zimmer frame. This is a kid who once runs worse than Ezra Miller. They got the only person in the world who runs stranger than him. She lifts her legs up more than forwards, and all of these grown adults are desperately trying to run as slow as physically possible. And
I watched the clip for that, and I was just like, "What?"
It was. I was
like, in the second episode. There's another one. They do it twice.
My goodness.
Yeah, there's one time where the kidnappers are chasing her, and then one time where Obi-Wan's chasing her.
Yeah. And there's literally a point, she could run anywhere. She's trying to get away from him. She could run anywhere. She decides to run straight past him, and he takes 2 steps. He's on her, could grab her at any point, and just doesn't. It's bizarre. And then, for absolutely no reason, she jumps off a roof. There's no reason for her to jump off a roof. She knows she can't make the other side of the roof. She gets like a third of the way across, and is just dangling from a rope. And then later in the episode, blames him for, well, since I've met you, I almost fell off a roof and died. It's like, yeah, because you jumped off it. You just yeeted yourself for no reason. And she finds out the only reason she runs away from him is because she finds out that the bounty hunters are after him. And she's like, they kidnapped me to get to you. So it's like, well, okay, so you know that he's your friend and cares about you because he came to rescue you, and they knew you were a pressure point. And she decides to run away from him because he might be the real kidnapper. I'm like, what? Yeah. And I wouldn't mind if it was just like, well, she's 10, what do you expect? But they're pitching her as some really insightful, intelligent wonder child, and she's thick.
And that's what makes it frustrating, is because, yes, any 10-year-old kid, I would understand that. But because the way they set her up from the very beginning, it didn't necessarily make sense for her character to do those things later. Like,
and Leia isn't pitched like this later on.
Right. Like they set it up one way, but then they executed it differently.
My thing is this too. If it's because she's supposed to be super smart, that she has these weird moments where she completely seizes up and reads her lines like she's reading off a fucking cue card about how smart she is and how good she is at deducing people's inner problems, or it's the fucking Force. Where did it go when she became a princess? Did she forget about it? Because literally the whole point is that it's a burgeoning thing in the original trilogy, but now all of a sudden she has it, and the way it works differently than anybody else that has ever used the Force. Because you don't just inherently read people's fucking minds because you have the Force. Maybe you're more intuitive than other people. They talk about the fact that maybe some people are more lucky than other people. That could be Force sensitivity, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that she'll be like walking around talking, I like candy. Your mother didn't love you. Your mother never loved you. That's probably why you're so mean to everybody. And everybody's like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? And then she like goes back to being whatever she is. And
if she isn't that insightful, why does she not know that Kenobi's a friend?
She can't tell. All of a sudden she can't read his fucking mind. Well, she read his mind earlier, so why can't she now?
Everyone else is shooting at me. The closest person to me is guarding me from the people shooting at me. Better jump off this building. That's the thought process.
Yep.
And also, he kills one of the bounty hunters. The show forgets that there's a second one shooting him, and suddenly he's now hanging over the building, saving her, and then he teleports to the ground instantaneously, and the other bounty hunter just, does nothing during all this time? They show the fake Jedi just on the roof, watching them have a fight. Doesn't help, just stands there and watches them, and then later appears. I don't know what these characters are meant to be doing.
She shows up to help him and doesn't help him at all. In fact, lets Reva know exactly where he is. Also, this whole bullshit about Reva. Okay, I get that you want to make her look cool, so you ever do the whole Batman perch on a building. I can get past it. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's stupid, but whatever. We'll get past it. And then she goes, I figure out where Kenobi is. He's about 3 rooftops away. Time to be a badass. So her idea of being a badass is to jump off this roof slowly, land on the ground, and then it takes her like 3 scenes of parkour jumping and running across these rooftops to fucking get to Kenobi. And by the time she gets there, he's gone. He's finished his gunfight. He saved Leia from falling to the ground, and then has gotten down in the alleyway, grabbed Leia as she's run away now, and then he's talked to fake Mr. Jedi guy and fucking left. And she shows up. It took her that fucking long, but yet Kenobi can get from a building down to the ground in a matter of seconds, and then Senator Organa can go from Alderaan to fucking Tatooine in a day, in less than a fucking day. Find where Kenobi's cave is, because everybody but the Inquisitors know where this guy fucking lives, apparently. Like, the timeline makes no sense.
Gary from Nerdrotic shared this out. This is like the clip of the chase.
Did he put the Benny Hill music to it?
Yeah.
He did.
They have to keep cutting it so they're further
My
away.
favorite is the one. My favorite is when the guy like runs right into the tree.
Yeah,
oh, no, mine's
dude,
this
that
bit.
was
He just
so
grabs the
bad.
branch. He's like, oh no, this tiny branch I can't step over.
Yeah, right here. What is
Right
this?
here, right?
What is that?
Look at that.
Hold on,
This guy catches it and then stops because he's too fast.
Yeah,
It's
wait. If you back
so
it up to the beginning of the scene, they straight up, you can see the adults, the grown-ass adults, slow their runs down because they almost catch her immediately.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like, look, they're all just standing there, just watching as she starts to run away.
Look how he runs. He's
Look
like,
at that.
oh shit, I'm catching her.
The thing is, she is as tall, like head and everything, as Kenobi's waist. So obviously he's going to catch it.
Right. And then, this part right here, oh my gosh, so bad.
And the fucking argument that people made to me about
Look at that. Like, what's going on
He
here?
doesn't go
This guy
around the
just,
tree,
like,
he just stares at her through it.
This guy just trips over nothing.
He's like, oh shit. Yeah.
Look, he just...
Yeah, they
Like,
run the
what?
opposite direction of her.
What
There's
the
a bit
heck
where 2
is
of them are
this?
chasing her, and one of them just runs left for absolutely no reason
Oh,
whatsoever. She's
my
like a meter
gosh.
away.
So bad.
And I said, I
And
was like, it's like a Benny Hill chase.
So-
And somebody got upset with me about it. They're like, well, she should know the Force. She'd be better at the Force. And then I'm like, then show that. She doesn't use any resources. She runs in a straight fucking line.
Yeah.
Which I don't care who you are. My daughter is taller than Leia, like, and is younger than her. and I can outrun her, and I'm fat and slow.
I just when I was watching that, I just thought it was kind of funny. I was just like, what? I was like, I could have caught this kid so easily, like this whole time, and so it once again it just felt lazy to me, and it's the same way. It was the same thing with Obi-Wan being able to catch her later. Also was just another lazy thing to me. And it was just frustrating because it's like, realistically speaking, yes, like these people could have got her right away, but it needs to be drawn out.
God fucking damn it.
So,
God fucking
the Gronk himself, Mazza, sent a $10 super chat. Boys, trust me, episode 5 will be good as hey. Ben, big fan.
What does that mean?
Mazza's a big fan of you, Ben.
He is.
This is what you've done to yourself. Congratulations, you have Mazza chasing you now.
I don't know anything about Mazza.
It doesn't matter now.
Mazza's the kind of person you don't want to agree with you.
Yeah.
He deliberately has terrible takes on everything.
He's infamous for...
I mean, I'm also infamous for my takes.
No, Ben. I'm telling you right now, I prefer your takes to Mazza's takes any day.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I could sit here and listen to you give 5 of your worst takes and not get as triggered as I do when Mazza starts dropping whatever the shit.
Maybe it's because I'm better at giving my takes than Mazza is.
No, Mazza's are just so inherently bad that you can't be okay with it.
What's a take of Mazza's that's...
He is talking about restructuring the way we frame time in the world by before Morbius was released and after Morbius was released. And he's not fucking... he says, he's like, we should change the time. It should be before Morbius. So what is it? BMR before Morbius released, and AMR after Morbius released.
Does he like Morbius?
He loves Morbius. He thinks it's maybe but I'm still not sure if he's seen
astounding.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's seen it either.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if he's watched it.
I don't think he needs to.
Don't watch it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. Morbius
bad.
is fucking terrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
So I want to take a quick second here to plug Epicverse.
Snap.
Let me go ahead and throw this up here. So if you guys haven't yet, go follow Epicverse over on Twitter. And we also have a YouTube channel for it as well, which obviously we don't have any content on it yet, but sooner rather than later we will. So make sure that you go subscribe over at Epicverse on YouTube as well. We'd appreciate that a lot. Dropping the link for Epicverse Studios on YouTube. And that is the film company that Mike and I are heading up, that we're in the process. We actually are going to be shooting our first project for that in a couple weeks here. Very excited for that.
Very.
And that is just the beginning. And we have a lot that we will be announcing in the next coming few months. And we're really excited for all of that and for what we have going on. So make sure that you go follow us over there so that you can keep updated about everything that we have going on with Epicverse. So Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
To the Epicverse thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. No, dude, we're working hard. This is the thing. Whether it's my content, Disbrew, Ben, Josiah, anything, we got to remember, we got to support each other. The better we support each other, the more stuff we can do, for you guys. Like, the better things will be, like, for culture. We want to make good content for you guys. We want you guys entertained. And so make sure you support people that you like, support their content. And it doesn't always have to be monetarily. Sometimes it's just watching it. Watching content is a huge deal. If you don't watch, then we don't, we're not getting ad revenue, all that different things too. Even just talking about it to your friends that are like, man, what have you watched recently? Stuff like that. Just support your favorite creators. It's important.
Yep. And even just, like a simple like, a simple comment, a quick share, all of that type of stuff helps everything more than you realize. So we appreciate everything that you guys continue to do to support us. So
absolutely, man.
Well,
so Ben gets to read his tweet. Can I read my tweet?
Yeah, go for it. So you've been getting a lot of flack for this, haven't you, Mike?
Yeah.
I've been scrolling his timeline. I see what you mean. You went to war with everybody.
Yeah,
I didn't fuck around. I actually legitimately argued with every single person. Yeah. So I posted this. This was This was my take on Kenobi. I watched it. I tweeted something before that about how just outrageously bad some of the blocking, some of the shooting and the framing and stuff in the show was, because there are some really bad shots in this movie. I want to call it a movie, but show. But this was my take after I got done watching it. I literally said this exact thing basically to my wife and was like, I got to tweet that. So, hey, Kenobi is not good. Ewan McGregor is doing his best, but your love for him cannot justify the poor quality of this show. I honestly think the Halo show was produced with better quality than Kenobi. This show was an insult to every single Star Wars fan. And apparently, that is an extremely controversial take. I've been called... So at first, it was like, you don't know anything about movies, you're an idiot, blah, 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 the typical stuff. And then it turned... I got called today, I got called a Nazi and a racist, and then a bootlicker. I got called a lot of things. I got
Wouldn't
called
a bootlicker supposed to be on the other side? It's the major multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Well, you would think so, but no. They're like, listen, you don't understand. Star Wars fans. Apparently, me saying that you should be that this is an insult to Star Wars fans is me telling Star Wars fans they cannot like this show.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what I said.
Right.
What I said was it is an insult, because here's the thing. Some people got really upset, and I'm like, you're defending a corporation that doesn't give a shit about you. They spent the budget for this show, I think, is $25 million or something like that. The budget for Kenobi is $25 million, and they spent, what was it, Disparu, for Halo? How many?
It's 10 million episode, I think. So
10
90?
million in episodes, $90 million for the Halo show, and they had $25 million for Kenobi. And listen, maybe they have better ways of doing certain things, but I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot compare this show. And I don't give 2 fucks and a half what your thought is on the show, whether you like it or not, because this is something people clap back with. Compare this to Game of Thrones and tell me that Disney is putting their best foot forward with the quality of their shows. And then I even brought it back. Go ahead and compare the show to Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, hell, even Iron Fist. You cannot tell me the quality of this show is to the level that those shows are. Disney's not putting their best foot forward. They knew you'd watch the show because Ewan McGregor's in it. They knew slapping the Kenobi name on it, you'd go see it. And so they put together an okay, somewhat passable show that they know casual fans will be okay with. That is a complete insult to every hardcore fan of the show, because it's already breaking fucking canon. The premise for it is already ridiculous. And they tried to compare this shit to Logan. They compared this shit to... They tried to compare this shit to like Logan.
Really?
Before this,
And Joker.
Yeah. And Joker, that was the other one, yeah.
gosh.
And Joker before this came out, because the whole idea was watching Kenobi struggle and fight with his inner demons and all this stuff. He's not fighting with his inner demons. He's fighting
miserable.
He's just miserable, and he's fighting with a child who doesn't want to be saved when he's trying to rescue her. And he's fighting against. He's using a fucking blaster. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi using a fucking blaster.
That's kind of what I was getting at, though, where it's like, if they focused more on him actually dealing with the battles of his past, then it would be a much better show, but they're not focusing on those things. They're focusing on other things instead, and they lose sight of that. There's like a few mentions of it, and there's like a few, like I said, really good, in my opinion, really good shots of like Obi-Wan where you can kind of see his pain and stuff like that, but I feel like they just don't focus on it. So instead, it feels like it's tearing our focus away to other things instead.
Because you're saying if it was the Kenobi show, but it's not meant to be the Kenobi show. That's the crux of it. And also, I'm not sure you could do that for 6 episodes. He's got to do something. You can't just have a man miserable in a cave.
I think, in my opinion, this would have worked. Like
hours.
if they wanted to tell a really good Kenobi story, and all the stuff with like Anakin and Darth Vader, and a rematch between them, I love that idea. I want all that to happen. But I think it would be much better told and actually like a 2-hour long movie than it would have been a series. I think that's it. In the end, I think that's what they should have gone. Like
Betty
that's
Boop
what they should have done.
With $2 super chat.
Why
am I subscriber number 3 to Ben's channel? Question mark. There you go, Ben. You got a third subscriber to your channel. Betty Boop coming in hot with that subscribe. Thank you so much, Betty Boop. Appreciate that.
Interrupted with a compliment.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
Keep going, buddy.
She's evolving.
Yeah. That's amazing.
No, because technically, and I did see someone say this, Ben wants that to happen and break canon even more. Technically, a rematch between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan is absolutely hinted at in previous canon of Star Wars, so that would
When?
not break canon. It's
When?
it's hinted at. It is hinted at in episode 4. I actually went back because there's certain things that I was checking to see if this technically broke canon, and so I went back to check in like the movies and stuff to see if there was room for that, and I saw that there was. So I would go back and watch.
Wait. There's a rematch between them that's hinted at
Yes.
in episode 4.
Well,
There
that's
is.
what Ben says.
No, there is, because Obi-Wan, he has some line to Darth Vader when they're fighting in episode 4, and it hints that they've met before as the two of them, like as Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Which line, Ben?
I can't remember the exact line. I looked it up today. I can't remember it.
I mean,
Is it one of those ones where it's taken out of context and twisted and could possibly be like, was it actually intended to be that way, or is that what people are making it post ad hoc?
I don't know.
That's
I
what a
have
lot
no
of
idea.
people are.
I want to see if I can find the scene where they so it's the scene where they're
when
fighting,
they're fighting.
right?
Let me see if I can find it again.
I have
Because my hunch is they're probably talking about, when they fought on
Originally.
Mustafar or whatever.
Okay, but technically, yeah, but I mean that before George Lucas also hadn't written those scripts yet when he wrote episode 4.
But he probably had an idea of what happened beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I think if it was intentionally written that way, that's one thing. But if people are taking lines and think, well, we can twist this to technically give us a bit of wiggle room, I'm not keen on that myself.
So people are comparing it to like Logan. The thing is, from what I've heard of the Obi-Wan show, and obviously I'm someone that hasn't actually watched it yet, but just from what I've heard from different people, it sounds like the difference between that is Logan is actually about Logan, and Obi-Wan doesn't seem like it's actually an Obi-Wan, like an actual Obi-Wan show.
Well, and here's the thing too.
It's slipping,
Logan like borrows a slight bit from Old Man Logan, but really they're not the same story at
Right.
fucking all.
Right.
But
right. Mhm.
they borrowed from Westerns, and they had a theme and an idea that they wanted to tell with those shows and with that movie. This show, what is the theme? Because the thing is, if the theme is about Obi-Wan and you have other characters who establish, because nobody's complaining that there's other characters. The complaint is that they put a ton of focus on Reva and trying to establish her story. But the thing is, they're not establishing her as a villain. Right off the bat, you know that they're going to try to establish her more as some kind of sympathetic character. You're supposed to feel bad for her getting shit on by all the Inquisitors. But here's the thing, too. As somebody that has played things like D&D, I have played my fair share of like murder hobo characters. They're not compelling characters. They're funny, awesome side characters that usually die in combat because it makes sense to do so. She's acting like the character that is the big bad, like strong guy that like gets his ass kicked by the hero later and then faces off with the villain down the road. Because the Inquisitor straight up tells you how to catch Jedi. He tells you the whole philosophy behind Jedi, everything. And her response is, yeah, fuck all of that. I'm going to kill this guy right here and now. Like,
Jolly Roger, thank you for the $20 super chat. Epic Verse coming in hot. Can't wait for the teasers. Thank you so much, Jolly Roger. Appreciate that. We can't wait for you guys to see what we have cooking in the oven. It's going to be awesome. And Betty Boop with the $2 super chat. Yay! Ben's at 5 subs now. Thank you, Betty Boop. Appreciate that. Look at you grow, Ben.
Look at me grow. Wow, that sounds weird.
He's growing so hard right
but
now.
I did want to point out once again. This brings me back to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I know a lot of people haven't played because they lost faith in Star Wars games years ago, which I totally respect. But I think this was definitely a return to form for them, and I can't wait for the sequel. But I think that's another aspect where they did the Inquisitor storyline so much better. And I don't know if it's because it had room to breathe in a Star Wars game, or that it wasn't a Star Wars game that was solely focused on an original character that we all love dearly. But the way that they told that story in that game, in my opinion, was really, really well done. And not only that, but like the writing was good and the voice cast was excellent. And I just think that like that's the type of way you want to tell that story. You don't want to use this as like a vessel to tell that story. It's a similar idea, and it's going to feel very like paint by numbers if people have played Jedi Fallen Order, but it's going to feel like it's done a lot worse. if that makes sense.
Ben, did you find the dialogue between them for the fight scene?
It what I don't even know if it was the fight scene. He said so when Darth Vader's talking to Grand Moff Tarkin, he says he feels a tremor in the Force. The last time he felt it was when he was when he was against his old master or something, which could technically be the original fight or it could be a different one. And that was when they're in like the actual like meeting room inside the Death Star. And then let me see. I thought they said something during the fight, but I could be wrong about that. So maybe I was just thinking of different scenes.
I mean, if they did fight between Mustafar and episode 4,
yeah,
then he wouldn't be his master during that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically he'll always be known as his master. But
Okay.
well, I think so.
Because when in that fight when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. So
I am the master.
It's like,
yikes.
But regardless of that fact,
Yikes.
that's I would love to see that rematch because I'm an idiot and I love hating
janging them keys and you got to come running. I get it.
That's right.
Listen,
hey,
here's the thing.
To me, that's the type of thing that I think can be. It doesn't have to be like a complete desecration of canon to make something like that happen. I don't think. Whereas like there's other things that I think are, but I don't think that's one of those things that is. There is enough room there to make something like that happen. But
Why,
but I mean that's just something I'd like to see.
Why do you want to go back and keep finding little nooks and crannies that you can insert another movie and TV series in when they could easily just continue the story and do I know the last one didn't work, but maybe they should learn from that and improve it rather than try and desperately find possible ways that they won't completely destroy all of the original trilogy and stuff.
Instead of cramming shit into the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree, but I just think that like the main thing they're trying to do with the show though is not the conflict between Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's just a selling point to get people in there. They're not trying to use that as the main focus point.
No, because they want to talk about Leia and Reva.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'd be different if it actually was an Obi-Wan centric show and that was just a conflict that happened later. I think I would be a lot more forgiving of the entire show if that was how it was written.
To me, that kind of takes like having a fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan kind of in the middle of episode 4 and at the end of episode 3. That kind of takes away the poeticness of Obi-Wan winning in Mustafar, beating Anakin, all of that type of stuff, and then him getting beat in episode 4 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I've talked about this before. This is what they're doing with Star Trek. They're going to do this with other properties too. You go back in the past and you change the past to make the future what you want it to be. That's why they went back with Star Trek. There's not a lot of room in Star Trek where they are in Discovery before the original series begins and prior to or after Enterprise. Like there's not much that happens in that time gap. So they added in their own things, interjected it, said, oh, it probably won't break canon. They broke canon numerous times. And then their attitude was like, well, don't worry about it. And now they're doing the Strange New World show, which is dealing with Captain Pike, who is not captain very long. But yet they're going on all these adventures and finding all these alien species and stuff. The Enterprise didn't really encounter any of that before that. But now they can change Star Trek and make it look like they want it to look. And they're doing the same thing with Star Wars. Now Star Wars can look like they want it to look. But here's the thing, too. They have said, and Kathleen Kennedy in that Vanity Fair article talked about it, we need to move past the Skywalker saga. We need to move into the future, or we need to move, realistically, the past, because the High Republic is their next selling point. But the thing is, they don't care about breaking canon. They don't give a shit about giving you quality. They know that telling most people Vader and Obi-Wan are going to fight again is going to make people come watch the show, regardless of if it makes any goddamn sense or not.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck because they've already whether the Grand Inquisitor is dead, because there were so many people arguing, well, other people have come back from worse. You shouldn't have to have that argument. The Grand Inquisitor shouldn't get a fucking lightsaber through his chest in the first goddamn place, regardless. And here's the thing: the other part of it is Reva should not get the upper hand on the Grand fucking Inquisitor. It's not how that works.
And as a Rebels fan, that part particularly made me mad because like the Grand Inquisitor is an extremely intimidating and smart villain, and I just didn't feel like they showed any of that with that. Like I don't know, like she should have never been able to, like I understand that she's supposed to be powerful and stuff, but she should have never been able to get the upper hand on him so easily in that scene. It didn't make a lot of he would have never had his guard down that way, just judging from his character in the show. In Rebels,
throughout the entire episode, as far as I'm aware, he was actually just telling the truth. That she was the weakest of them. She was like the lowest, and she was taking that as it was offensive. It's like no, they know each other's power in the Force. That's why the Sith and everyone organize the way they do in just who's the most strongest or the most Machiavellian. And she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to let you take credit for my work." It's like, well, you can't really do anything to because if that happened, he would just stop with a thought. He's already stopped a lightsaber in the first episode, and the fact that now she can sense Obi-Wan, which I'm assuming is because he's had a reconnection to the Force, but she can read minds and sense people's intentions. And she's surrounded by farmers in the first episode.
She doesn't use it on Lars. She should have used it, or Owen.
But isn't she using it all the time? Like, she's threatening his family. She clearly wants information from him. She's saying he knows something. Doesn't even bother to try and read his intentions. Because I guarantee you he was thinking about Obi-Wan at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, she should have known he was at least stressed.
Excuse me, dying over here.
I can fucking tell. God.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, here's another thing. Here's another thing. Well, just take a breath.
Yeah,
you're good.
Here's
another thing. How the fuck does Reva know that Anakin is Darth Vader?
Yes, that
that makes no fucking sense. That is not common knowledge to any goddamn body.
No,
because they all assume Anakin died.
And if Darth Vader if Darth Vader thought that you knew that he was Anakin, he would just kill you.
He would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would die where you stood. And here's the thing: of all the people that would know something like that and be invading your mind constantly, it's Vader, because he can do it without fucking putting his hand in your face. Yeah. So the fact that Reva knows any of that shit it makes no fucking sense why she's still alive. Because the other thing is, in Star Wars, I know this is non-canon, but it's a microcosm of it. And the Force Unleashed with Vader's secret apprentice and everything, that motherfucker's constantly on the verge of dying to Vader, because as soon as he outlives his usefulness, Vader just fucking offs people. Vader is known for just killing people because they might know too much. And this bitch knows his fucking name and everything.
Yeah.
She apparently knows their story behind it. And
I think there was like the explanation I saw going around was that, well, since she was a youngling at the Jedi Temple, she must have like seen Anakin and be called Lord Vader by like the clone troopers or whatever. But like she was also like a little kid in the middle of like a war zone where people are, getting just murdered in front of her. I just don't think that would have. I don't know. To me, that just seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like everyone's just really enjoying the show. That's good to hear.
That's a great time.
Having a great time with it.
I'd rather sit here and rip it apart than discuss its merits, because I don't think it has any. And going on about how good these shows are is just like it's mind-numbing to me.
Absolutely.
Betty Boop.
If this is supposed to be what we expect of entertainment,
yeah,
I don't think it's a positive to talk about how well it's kind of okay. It's like, no, if something's not good, it should be torn apart so that they don't do it again. These people should be humiliated and ashamed of what they've created.
Yes.
This was all about that shame, and I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So, Betty Boop, thank you for the $5 super chat. Red Light. I'm bored, and I don't like your screen name, Ben. It should be Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
So there you go.
Can't change it now.
So let's move on. Let's talk about something else that came out this week. The freaking second trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder.
You did it.
More delightful content coming from Disney. and Marvel and everything else. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, so they dropped the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder while we were down in Florida, and we actually got to watch it on the big screen by the pool, which was
After
Lucky,
Josiah and I
lucky.
cooked a lovely meal for everybody.
we did actually. Ben and I made a very delicious meal for everyone. We made steak and salad and asparagus and I don't remember, mac and cheese, all sorts of stuff, garlic bread. It was quite delightful, and everyone really enjoyed it. Is there asparagus in the UK?
Yes. We also have rudimentary tools.
Oh wow, nice.
Nice.
Running water. We had electricity's installed next week.
What? Real quick, this is a total side thing, but I learned this recently. I never heard about the window tax thing.
Wait,
over
what?
in the UK.
The window tax.
Yeah, so apparently over there, like if there's like buildings that have like bricks in the windows or whatever, like bricked off windows.
Oh, that was an old Victorian thing, I think. Yeah, there's lots of places like that. You will see a building, and then you'll just see like a doorway or a window, and it'd be clearly different, like newer bricks than the rest of it, and it won't fit. Yeah. That was an old thing though. They got replaced multiple times. They were gonna do a tax recently because there was the poll tax and everything, like which caused riots. But there was one recently where they were going to judge your council tax of your home based on the quality of it, and they would mark it down for things like dog crap on your drive and stuff. They literally went into that much detail. So people were like, well, when the inspector comes round, I'm just going to get all the neighbors' dogs onto my property and then try and lower it as possible so I pay as little tax. So they they come out with really complicated taxes over here.
Wow.
It never worked.
Yeah,
they did one.
Crazy.
There was a sausage roll tax where your sales tax to the customer changed depending on the temperature of the sausage roll.
No way.
So they'd have to measure the temperature before they sold it to someone. Yeah, if it got cooler, it was a sliding scale of tax. The colder it was, the less you had to sell it for.
Holy cow. just trying to eke every little bit of money from the people that they can. That's disgusting.
Wow.
Taxation is theft. So
wow. That's fucking insane, bro.
That is crazy. So speaking of insanity, let's go ahead and talk about this frickin' trailer. Should we kind of like do kind of a reaction thing, and
are we allowed to watch this?
Yeah, if we kind of break it up and stuff, it should be fine. So,
all right.
Let's go ahead and start this bad boy up here.
Kids, get your popcorn now. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking. Thor.
Can you pause it real quick?
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
That was a huge red flag to me because it feels like he's telling a story after Thor has died. It might not be the case, but it feels like that could be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thor Odinson.
He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for
he's using past tense.
Yeah, so I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
Because
I guess
he is a god.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's because Thor kind of disappears from everyone and runs off or something. I don't know.
Or he just retires from being Thor and she takes over for him.
Yeah.
Because then he would no longer be a god.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Set off on a new journey. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod. And after all that, he reclaimed his title as the one and...
Okay.
Yeah. She's now more worthy of the hammer than he is.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yep. Exactly.
only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
That's when I checked out of the trailer right there when that happened. I mean, we all know where they're going with this, right?
Yeah.
We all know exactly
Also,
where they're going with this.
I know a lot of people were like, "What's that helmet?" That helmet's CGI, and I can guarantee it's hiding something.
This helmet right here.
Yeah, that helmet right there. If you look at like his face, that's CGI.
They're
definitely covering something up. I know people are like, no, that helmet's real. Look at the seat. Look at this lighting and stuff on that. It doesn't even fit Marvel does this all the time when they're trying to hide things.
Uh-huh.
If you go back and watch like the Thor Ragnarok trailer,
Uh-huh.
when they show he has 2 eyes, they'd like digitally edited out his eye, but you can tell that they were hiding something in the trailer.
Right.
It happens all the time. So whatever's going on with his face right now, they're hiding something.
Yeah, if
So-
you look at his left shoulder, that's really bright on his shoulder,
Yeah.
but on that part of the helmet, there's none.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I
not a mistake.
wonder what I mean, I'm not sure what they would be hiding, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even see his right eye at all here,
Mm-mm.
No.
which is
But
interesting.
even if it is a CGI
but-
helmet, make one that looks good.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, chances are if you see something that's super CGI in a trailer that you can pick apart, it's because they're hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do it in like they do it like before the trailer drops.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that in itself if they need to hide certain things from the story, but
Yeah.
because like I hate Thor Ragnarok the movie, but I didn't mind that they did that in the trailers to hide some key plot developments or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
But
Jane.
yeah. Jane.
So there you have
Spoke too soon.
Her arms. You see how big her arms are, bro?
Yeah.
Look how jacked her arms are, bro.
Yeah. That's yeah. Those are some arms.
Jacked.
Brave and stunning. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Definitely real.
Yeah, totally real.
That's why they changed that the movie.
Those arms are the realest arms I've ever seen.
So yeah,
She has
so
a weird muscle at some part which like sticks out here, like a huge bump. It's strange.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's just really jacked, bro.
I mean this whole part right here really pisses me off because if this is supposed to be like the moment where
You also see in this fight he's wearing a different costume than
Right.
what he's wearing later.
and where did his helmet go? Like suddenly it's not there
There's
anymore?
definitely
I think-
something going on that they're not showing.
Yeah, these are all completely. It's all just cut up and smushed together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this I mean Mjolnir is just such a huge part of who Thor is, and you would think that this, I mean, to me this kind of feels like Thor Ragnarok, where you had all of these moments in the film that could have been really powerful, really dramatic, really epic as far as giving us huge payoffs for different things like Odin and everything else, but then they continued to ruin them time and time again throughout that film with comedic elements. To me, this kind of feels the same, where this could have been a really epic moment where Thor gets Mjolnir back and everything else, and then they ruined that. They ruined that once again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Claimed his
This
title.
entire trailer is supposed to show that he is worse than her in like
Right.
every way. She
Right.
cares less about the relationship between them and everything.
Yep.
When a trailer deliberately beats you over the head with that message multiple times, you know that's going to be the theme of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no reason to
Yep.
lie about that because it's not going to make people happy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. Exactly.
As the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
Jane?
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been like? 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, give or take.
Am I sensing feelings?
You're right.
Can you pause it real quick?
Ugh,
This is another
yeah.
thing too. Like, I know it's super cringe, but like, he's 1,500 years old or more. He doesn't. 8 years is not very much time. Like,
Yeah.
if you measured years in centuries, like
Yeah.
if 1,500 years, 8 years is a blip in the radar. That's like
Mhm.
you could go jerk off for 8 years and still have plenty of time left on your punch card. Like,
Yeah.
but the fact is, yeah, that he's been counting the years, the months, and the days since she's been gone. Like,
Mhm.
even though we knew that she was the one in love with him, and he couldn't be with her because he was a god. Now,
Yep.
like, how did it change all of a sudden? How has he been simping over her all these years? Like,
Right,
just the
right.
dynamic immediately doesn't make any sense based on how Thor is to now.
Right.
And she doesn't care
exactly.
at all. She's like, well, roughly 3 years. I've not been counting, but he's been counting to the exact day, missing her presence all the time. And it's like, she's not that good. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
If you were going to do something, it should be like, have another god. Like, someone who can, that's equal to him, not just a human that he found on a planet once. Like, really?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of what that was, especially the core of the first film in so many ways was the relationship between Thor and Jane. And, it just doesn't really add up that now we're at a point where suddenly Jane doesn't really care anymore. And it doesn't make much sense. But, it's I mean, we've talked about this before. Marvel is literally retconning their own universe, Yeah. And it's the same thing that all of these different places are doing, like Star Wars is retconning old Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings is retconning, and we have all of these things that are retconning older stories that came out, and now we're at a point where even Marvel is retconning its own earlier films that were part of this universe. It's super weird. It's super weird.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
It's all to put her in a position of power over him. Like, well, like whoever cares the least has sort of the whip hand, because they're the ones that could walk away, kind of thing.
100%.
And you're literally going to, even on this, when the go later on, he's the one humiliated. He's the butt of every joke. They're the ones going, well, shall we save him? And it's like, what, you're nobody. You're just a woman with a hammer who shouldn't have even really mastered its power at this point, if it's only been a few years, whereas he's been doing this his entire life.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm already an expert at it. First fight, taking on everyone, already congratulated by him about how amazing I am at it.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves. So this is my vow. All gods will die.
All right. How do we feel about Gore the Butcher?
I actually think he looks cool.
I
like the whole black and white
he looks
aesthetic.
very comics accurate and good. He's my favorite part of the trailer.
I mean, I don't think he looks comic accurate, but yeah, he does look good.
Besides the tentacles, he looks pretty good. Yeah. So, but we'll see. Those might make an appearance.
And I like the story. Like a guy's going around killing gods. That's cool. But
like,
I want to see Thor handle him, not anyone else.
Yeah, well, to me, it seems that's that's what it appears to be the focal point of the movie is Gore trying to kill all the gods, and so Thor and I presume Jane have to stop him. But that he was my favorite part of the trailer. Everything with him in there, and obviously Christian Bale's a great actor. So,
well, so this is something that we ran into too. This happens in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This may not be a big deal for people that only watch the movies, but if you read comic books, when they talk to Doctor Strange about what world he lives in, they say it's Earth 616. Earth 616 is the same, like the main comic book universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Marvel flat out admitted that this universe is the same exact universe as the comic books. So characters looking different, storylines being completely different, make no sense, because originally this was supposed to be universe 999 or something like that, or 9,999, because it was so different. But now to me, as a comic book reader, like a casual comic book fan, to me it makes every deviation from the comic books even more egregious, because you set it in the same universe. It just makes no sense. Like, yeah.
So
all the different multiverses know what each other's calling it though? Because could one multiverse call them all a different number, or is there a reason why they're called a certain number?
There's a reason they're called a certain number, because there's certain the fact that they gave it 616 means it's the comic book universe. Like they purposely label the numbers because there are specific ones that coincide to certain numbers.
Yeah, but I get that. But one multiverse may name a load of multiverses a certain number, and then another one could look at those same multiverses and call them different numbers.
Yeah, I know what
there's a
reason
reason why.
Yeah, based on everything I know about the comics, that's not the case. But Marvel
I
may have
mean-
said, yeah, no, that's totally a thing now. So.
I don't know anything very much at all about the comics, so I'm not going to pretend to know that. But from what I've seen in the comic books, this character looks relatively accurate, and his ultimate goal seems like it's the same. So,
let's see here. So this is what he is supposed to look like, or this is how he is looks like more in the comics.
he looks even better with his hood on, I think, in the trailer. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely differences, you know.
Yeah.
He
Like-
doesn't look like that.
Yeah, like he doesn't look as human here, obviously. Like,
Right.
Gore in the film looks basically like they just like spray painted Christian Bale and put some black stripes on him or whatever. So there's definitely differences as far as like the look goes.
Yeah.
And that just strikes it as laziness. Like, not giving him the tentacles and stuff, it's just because they couldn't be bothered to CGI them on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he looks awesome here. Like, this would have been a really cool look for the character.
You could nail the rest. Like, the ribs and the face, you could just do prosthetics, and then you'd have to nail the tentacles. But you could do that in a movie. They just haven't been bothered.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
A lot of people don't use prosthetics as much as they maybe used to, though. I don't think, which is unfortunate.
I mean, it depends. I mean,
yeah, it depends on what it is.
Depends on how much work you want to put in it, I guess. So,
as much as it takes should be the answer for a multi-million-dollar movie.
You'd think, yeah. All right, let's continue watching the trailer here.
Will die. I just want to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
He's just my first bad guy.
So that entire little conversation that they had right there completely just throws Thor under the bus in every way. And you know, we all know this is the direction they're just doing this with everything in the MCU, where they're just replacing all of the legacy male characters with these female characters, and it's happening in the TV series, it's happening in the movies, and this is just the next step with that. So
yeah.
Never forget your first. For you, I'm not like the other gods of kill. Because I have something worth fighting for.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flipped too hard, damn it!
Should we help him? Eventually. Great.
And there you have it.
There it is.
At the end of the day, he has to be the guy that there's a lot of Valkyrie and everybody else fighting, and in like big group scenes I can understand it, but when you nail the boss, like when Valkyrie is fighting him, no, that should be Thor. And if there's anything where it's like he's losing to the guy and then Valkyrie comes in and saves him or something, it's gonna be
and this is the thing too. Even by Marvel standards, period, or not even comic books, movie standards, Thor took the heart of a dying star to his fucking chest and survived. He literally reignited a star and then took it to the chest, survived. Then, with his new weapon that he is designed for kings, threw that motherfucker at Thanos with the full Infinity Gauntlet, broke the beam of the Infinity Gauntlet, and stabbed Thanos in the chest with it. The only reason Thanos did not lose is because he didn't hit him in the fucking head. That is the only reason it didn't happen, because if Thor hits him in the head, he dies instantly. It's over. But yet, he's not the strongest Avenger, according to Marvel, or according to the Marvel films, the MCU. It's Captain Marvel that's the most powerful. But my thing is this: even if Captain Marvel is more powerful than Thor's second on that list, and that means like Valkyrie and even Lady Thor cannot help him if he's fighting something that's capable of like killing gods. here's the other really weird thing about this. Gore, the God Butcher, has no fucking powers. He's just a dude that can fight gods.
Yeah, that's literally all he is.
He's just a
It's
guy.
great.
Now his sword is interesting because it's a symbiote, but they
Yeah.
probably won't do anything with that.
Hmm.
But the idea is that Thor that we know, even at his weakest when he was fat Thor, could throw down with Thanos in a full-on fight and almost win. But like if this is Thor at peak power, then we know that Lady Thor cannot come close to his abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
that's according to Marvel. But they don't give a shit about that.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, everything just feels like it's falling apart with the inconsistencies when it comes to Marvel now. And I think they're doing a lot of that just because they're trying to go in all these new directions with the MCU, and really just retconning the past when it comes to the MCU, and pushing all of these new characters and all these new powers that they have and everything else, and it just doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
What's going on? So
Yeah.
And I don't. Go ahead.
I'm actually for them using these films to make new characters, because at the end of the day, the actors are aging. They're going to have to swap them out
Yeah.
at some point. And
That's
I
not
think
my
the way
problem
you
with
get,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, the way you get new characters is to put them in through the movies. It's when they
Yep.
do it at the expense of the current
Yes.
one, you
Yes.
immediately don't like that one. It's like, I don't even care if they're any good at this point, because you've made them humiliate the other one. Now I don't like you just out of spite.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think that they're so desperate to push these new ones as like really powerful and amazing and great and the future of everything. It comes across as too much. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like you've earned it.
No,
Right.
100%. Well, because,
Right.
the only person that we've seen that got an actual good exit from the MCU is Robert Downey Jr.'s character. He
Yeah.
was completely like honored and loved and everything, because then, Captain America retired and that was a cool ending for him. But then they immediately start talking shit about him and talking about how he wasn't a good person and how he wasn't even that perfect, and how he left a troubled legacy in Falcon and Winter Soldier, or
yeah.
Captain America and Winter Soldier. They literally start talking about how Steve wasn't that good of a person and how he left a troubled legacy and how he never really helped people. He was always concerned with all these other interests. So they're deconstructing all these other heroes behind the scenes. And like this Bruce said, if you have to shit on what came before to make what you have now good, then why would anybody want it?
Yep. Yep.
Like, and not only that, but they have characters that exist in between. Like a lot of these new characters, America Chavez, Lady Thor, all this, even though they said that she's not going to be sticking around very long, but who knows? All these are characters. These are all from an era of comic books that, like, within the last like 10 years. This is like from 2012, 2013. All new, all different. There are heroes in between those sections they could have used, and they decided to double down on the new Avengers and stuff, which didn't sell. They weren't good because they're not interesting characters. And they're like, cool, here are these awesome characters. They're more badass than the ones you had. Because the thing is, coming like within the next 5 years, Riri Williams, who is a chick who built her own fucking Iron Man suit in a garage for a science fair, and Tony Stark was like, good job. Yeah, you can be Iron Man. That's literally her. That's her fucking storyline. Good job. You can be Spider-Man. Just like we have. Go ahead.
I don't get why in this movie she turns up and she's just female Thor instantly. Like, why did we not see in the movie of what on earth she did to get the hammer and turn into it? Maybe there'll be a flashback or something, but that could have been.
I'm sure they'll.
She
I'm
could have
sure
grown
they'll
into-
explain that.
Oh yeah, but it's
so?
going to be a quick thing that's mentioned. They could have done this throughout the entire movie. So Thor's fighting this big bad guy, and she's along with the ride, and whatever happens throughout the movie, and you see it, and there you can get to like the character as it's made. Just turning up as if, oh, I'm powerful now. Why? Oh, well, this happened, and then you do it in a flashback or a story.
Well, that's the funny thing about this is that they're basing a lot of these new films that they're coming out with on very, very new comics. Like female Thor has only been around since what, like 2013 or 2012, something like that.
Around something.
And she wasn't popular when she came out at that point either. I remember there was a lot of people that were upset about what was going on with female Thor when she came out at that point as well. So it's not like they're even basing this on classic good stories anymore.
No, 100%. These characters were never popular, and they could have done something interesting where they like seeded them in over time and slowly changing of the guards, because there are other heroes that are in the MCU that you could be using. But guess what? they don't have enough belief in any of these characters to stick it out.
Mhm.
They don't believe that these guys can carry it. The only person we have from the old guard now is Thor, because Hulk's basically nowhere. We already know he's going to be giving it to She-Hulk.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep,
it's like
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was and like all of these legacy male characters are being replaced by these female versions that nobody really cares about, you know? And and a lot of that just has to do with they haven't earned anything with the storytelling that has been built around them. So, Marty, thank you for the $5 super chat. They strip Thor and the women do nothing. But if that was reversed and they stripped Jane, it would be sexist.
That's what makes me laugh about all of this. Female superheroes would be the easiest win they could possibly sell to people. Like, all they've got to do is look hot and go around beating people up, and people would love it.
Yeah.
But they're so obsessed with trying to make them also be these characters and make men not attracted to them in any way, shape, or form, or put them into any position like that, that you get the worst of both worlds. It's like Wonder Woman. Like, they didn't try that with Wonder Woman, and people like it. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, contrary to popular belief, men usually don't really like snooty, very bitter women. But those are the types of women that they're filling these roles with. Like that's exactly who Captain Marvel was. She wasn't like an attractive character in personality, or in my opinion, even really in appearance. And they're giving us these like bitter women that are filling these roles, and that's not really helping anything with trying to increase the popularity with them among men, you know. And you know, men make up the majority of the audience that go see these types of movies, so they're just not hitting the demographic at all with that.
Well, it's like
I don't think
similar...
women want to go and see better women either.
Well, yeah, that's
it's
true.
similar to the concept. It's similar to the concept, like with we need women in like STEM fields. Like, yes, it's important to like give people equal opportunities, or and say, hey, you know what? If you want to be in this, you can. We're gonna offer to you. Awesome, great. But when you try to like say, okay, cool, we know that our target audience is this, but we want to get this audience in here. Well, like we've seen that not work for a lot of companies. The NFL did it. They were like, oh, we know that women watch a lot of the Super Bowl for the commercials. We should do more commercials. And then they did more commercials, and people stopped watching it as much. The viewership started going down. They started trying to cater to other markets to try to get bigger pieces of the pie. It's like, you can make money by just making decent films that people want to see, but they don't. Like that's not that they're going to try to market to these other people and believe that the future will be people will come see these movies because they're Marvel movies, except we just watched like movies like The Eternal not make money, and Shang-Chi barely break even, if it even did break even, because we don't know, and they're like, oh, cool. People don't want to come see this stuff, so let's start putting a lot of this shit on Disney Plus.
Right. Right.
So
yep, exactly. I just want to give a shout out to someone who's in the chat right now, Zevius, my boy, who is currently working on some very awesome stuff for us for the Epic Verse podcast. So let me go ahead and share something that he shared about that. So this is an image that is going to be for the animated intro for the Epic Verse podcast. So I'm really excited about that. So make sure that you go check out Zevius and his work. He's awesome. He's a great guy, and I really appreciate everything that he's doing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ben, what are your thoughts about all that?
About what?
You've been so fucking quiet, bro.
I don't have a lot of thoughts.
Yes, you do.
Not really. I just no, not really.
Ben just wants to turn off his brain and be entertained.
No, I'll watch the movie and I'll judge it on its own merits, but I don't have a lot to say from trailers. I just I'll go watch it, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And if I have things to critique, then I'll critique them. But I mean, usually if I have interest in a movie at all, I'll go see it. So it's not crazy for me to just not. I just don't really care a whole lot about trailers. Like, of course, there's going to be things that might throw you off in a trailer, things that you think you're not going to like. But I think that finished products, regardless of whether they're worse or better than the trailer, you never know until you actually see it. So it's just hard for me to to really judge anything until I see the movie.
But what is the point of a trailer?
I mean, I think the point of a trailer is to get you excited in some bit for
It's supposed to sell you on the idea of the film, right?
Yeah, and I mean, enough. The only thing you need to sell me on the new Thor movie is Chris Hemsworth and Korg, and then you got me. I'm in the theater right there. So that's what I got. I got that in the trailer. So honestly, no complaints here because Korg is my boy. I love that character.
Do the Korg accent.
All right, guys, come on, let's go. It's time to go. Thor, the mighty Thor.
That is an amazing impression.
It is really fucking
really good.
Real quick, I gotta share this. I want to share my screen again real quick.
I freaking love Korg. He's like the best new character they've created in years. He's so good because he's just so simple, but he's funny, and I love it. It's great.
Oh man! All right,
I tried this. There's a little clip in the. What does that look like to you guys?
Titanic.
Her arms have shrunk.
It looks like her arm is like CG.
Look at what happens the next time you see her in the trailer. Her arms look fucking massive.
Yeah,
Again,
they're tiny then.
Yeah, but they're tiny then.
Right.
Like when you see her talking, like her arms look huge. But yeah, when you go on that boat, her arms look super fucking like even right there. Look at her like shoulders and shit. But then when they're standing next to each other on the boat, like it looks super tiny. And I was like, this is the thing. Okay. I'm not saying I'm crazy and see a conspiracy behind every door. But if there's a conspiracy behind every fucking door there is, I cannot tell here if that is just bad editing and they missed the fact that her arms are supposed to look big, or if they intentionally CGI'd her arms to look small there so that people will see that in the trailer and talk about it. I can't tell if they're trying to trick people and saying, see, look how fucking small her arms are, or if they actually missed that section because it looks so weird to see her arms that small after how we just saw like how jacked she looks the rest of the movie.
Right.
I mean, where are the offset videos? Where are the paparazzi photos? Where are the interviews with people? This stuff would be, your arms just don't magically get bigger on set and then there's no evidence of it when you're a celebrity and paparazzi are after you all the time. There'd be some other offset, non-touched by Marvel images somewhere.
I don't know. I just feel like that's just not a big deal. Like, I just don't care about that. If her arms are bigger, they're small. Like, I just don't really care.
It's not a big deal, except that the narrative is that look at how awesome she is and look how strong she is and look at all the work that she put into this. Because that was the thing that they touted at the beginning, is that she was getting in major shape and she was like working super hard and stuff. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if Natalie Portman did get into shape though and like worked really hard.
I'm not saying that she didn't work hard, but my thing is this: there's an inconsistency in them marketing her looking as big as she did, because that's the thing. People all over Twitter were drooling all over it because they knew Marvel is not stupid. They know that marketing works. They know that if she looked like Gal Gadot, people would be like, she can't be Lady Thor. So why does she look like this one time and look like something different the other? Like the thing is, I don't have any complaints about Gal Gadot working her ass off and still being small because she did a great job as Wonder Woman. Like, but the fact is, you know that if she doesn't look like the guys, that means something that bothers them. We just watched it with Taskmaster and Black Widow. It was a guy in the fucking suit the whole movie until she takes off the mask. So my issue, Ben, is I get that that's a small thing. But it's not a small thing to Marvel because none of those things are accidents. They don't make accidents like that. You know, there's a lot of intention that goes into these movies. A coffee cup slipping through like Game of Thrones seems like a small thing, but it's not. It's a really egregious error because it means that it passed through 16 people that saw it and didn't do anything about it. And it's the same thing with something like Lady Thor.
I mean, I guess we'll really only be able to see exactly what they have done in the movie. I don't know if there will be the same inconsistencies that you spotted in the trailer, but I didn't even notice that when I watched the trailer. Like, I wasn't even looking for it. I just wasn't even looking at her arms. I just was watching it, so I didn't even notice that. But
fuck you, London.
Yeah, well, you know, and there's the problems that they're trying to kind of like twist reality with this, you know, like the whole idea is that, you know, Natalie Portman did all this work. Look at her. Look how amazing and huge her arms are. And that's just it would be one thing if they were like, okay, if like Marvel, if they were like, okay, yeah, we CGI'd her arms to make her look bigger or whatever. Like, I wouldn't really have a problem with that necessarily. But the problem is that they are continuing to try to push this as if that is real, like that is what's actually going on. Like with Brie Larson, as much as I couldn't stand her as Captain Marvel, I will give her credit. She did work her ass off as far as like getting in shape and working out and everything like that for the Captain Marvel role. And they didn't have to, enhance her in any sort of way to make her look, more powerful than she actually was. So
except her ass stunt double.
That that needed a lot of work, but yeah.
Real quick, Ruben Christopher Haynes just was in the chat. I haven't seen Ruben in a little bit, but hope he's doing well. He said, "Hail to the panel! I heard that Lady Sif is going to be in the film."
Shout out to Ruben. Thank you so much, man. We all appreciate you and your support for everyone in the Geeks and Gamers community and Josiah Rises and everything else. So thank you so much.
Yeah, man. I did hear that she's going to be in the film.
Yeah.
My thing is, I have a concern, just a minor one, with some things that have been dropped in the, like marketing, like that. What's her name? Valkyrie is looking for a queen. We haven't seen Lady Sif in for fucking ever. The last time I think I saw Lady Sif, she appeared in the Agents of Shield TV show.
Shield. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's been around here. She's a major dangling plot thread because she was one of Thor's best fucking friends. She just fell off the map and nobody's seen her and nobody's asked where she is. I would not be surprised to see her come back and her and Valkyrie get together.
Oh, man. That's so sad. I mean, Lady Sif was actually like a character I liked, like a female character that I thought they had a lot of potential to go with, as far as like her development and everything else from the first two films. And was she in the second film? I think she was in the second film, right?
Film,
yeah. And so, I was really excited when she showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I liked her in the first two Thor films. And she was a character that I thought they could have built a really interesting relationship with Thor throughout the rest of the films. And she just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And I don't really understand why. And then they started to give us these other characters that I don't feel any connection to whatsoever. So doesn't make any sense to me, but
yeah,
I still don't know why it's King Valkyrie. Even if it's in the comics, it's a stupid title and it doesn't make any sense from anyone's perspective.
Yeah, is that actually in the comics or?
I don't think so.
Well, that's even worse then. I just assumed it was, and they just carried it over.
So,
because they still have just two queens.
It's not in the comics at all.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they literally just made that up for the films.
Yeah, I've seen actual like legit like left like websites that are like comic book fan websites that do nothing but shill for Marvel saying it's really problematic that they did that because it doesn't make any sense to have her be King Valkyrie because it only lends credence that kings are more important than queens. That queens are not as important as kings. So they have to make her a king because the title for a man is better than the title for a woman.
I actually agree with that. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
I can't.
So funny.
But I'm like, I didn't even make that argument. That was a site that like normally is like, oh, we love, everything Marvel does. And they're like, yeah, that's a little weird. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, guys, let's have a good time. Read a couple books, take a snack. Now, let me tell you about my friend Thor, the god of thunder. He went from Godbod to Deadbod. Oh, wait, no, it's the other way around. Deadbod to Godbod.
I've been trying really hard to change up the subject. We can just.
I'm not sure people would know the difference. Like if there wasn't a camera.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
Ben
you could go on a game and be like, I'm the voice actor.
Oh, look at that!
Gather around, grab some popcorn.
Logo.
We're going to have a good chat about my friend Thor and his happy life dealing with Gore the God Butcher. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the core games. I'll always be a fan of Korg. Korg for life. Let's go.
Yeah. So there's a lot of other things that we were going to talk about, like Stranger Things as well. Has anybody watched Stranger Things season 4 yet?
No.
No, I have
tonight?
not watched
Okay.
anything past season 1 and
I'm starting
part of
tonight.
season 2.
Ben, that's a
Sorry.
problem. That's a huge problem.
I don't know.
So.
I think it's probably the best way to be. I thought 1 was great, 2 was slightly worse, and 3 I didn't like at all.
That's fine.
I'm actually enjoying season 4 quite a bit. It's the most similar to season 1 out of all of the seasons. So
I've heard they go like full on horror in season 4, but I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen it.
They definitely push that more than they have in quite some time in the show. So it has the most similar type of suspense to season 1's. I'm really enjoying season 4 actually. So I'm like almost through the 3rd episode.
They're
so
really
I'm
long
really enjoying
episodes.
it.
They're like movie length episodes almost. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've been really enjoying it, and I recommend checking out season 4 if anybody is wondering.
But I do agree that the quality is dropping with
Yes.
seasons, but I think that they realize that, which is probably why they're pulling the plug on it. As far as like this is the end, but I've heard it. Yeah, they've heard.
Is it Sean Levy who's the creator of Stranger Things?
No, isn't it?
It's him, right?
He's not the creator of the show, but I think he's like the showrunner. I think
He's got to be. I know he has a big role in it,
or the director, or something.
Yeah, I really have enjoyed his work.
He's director of Stranger Things.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew he did something important.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers, I think, are the ones that made.
Okay.
I enjoy Sean Levy's stuff.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy his content.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think that I would still tolerate season 2 and 3. I actually enjoyed season 2 quite a bit. Season 3 was definitely a big drop off for me, and season 4 I've been enjoying it so far with the 2.5 episodes I've seen. So
most of the people I've talked to have just enjoyed the whole series, and I mean I really like season 1, and then I was watching it with my wife, and she ended up watching more than I did because she ended up watching it with her brother, but we had stopped watching it for a while, and then I just hadn't picked it up again. So
I'm surprised that your wife watched that show.
Yeah, no, she really liked it, which is funny because it's definitely not her type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched all of season 1 together, and I was genuinely surprised that she actually sat through it. So,
thank you, Betty Boop. She said my Among Us stream on Twitch was epic.
Oh, that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good time.
People realized just how dangerous I am in that game.
Yep, they did. I've been fucking warning everybody. Yeah. I still really, next time we play Disprove, we got to get you on there because I really enjoy you playing Among Us.
I would like to see Disprove playing Among Us.
It's pretty great.
Oh yeah, that was just bad timing. It was in the middle of Obi-Wan reviews, and I literally reviewed, went to sleep, woke up, reviewed the next one. So,
but yeah, like last time we played together on the G&G stream, Disprove, he's pretty crafty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I realized when you said before, like, you scream a lot. And then only when I was playing with you, I'm like, you just sound guilty all the time.
Everyone says it to me all the time because all I fucking do is scream, and they go, "Why are you yelling?" I'm like, I yell all the time. I yell when I'm not guilty.
It's like, facts though. Like Mike does sound guilty all the time.
He does.
That just makes me want to vote for you. So it's like it kind of backfires.
Mike literally makes himself sus no matter what.
But I will say this: if I get a chance to play again with Ben, me and Ben as the killers, it's amazing. We've we've done first round wipes before.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad. Like
it's so funny. It's like Mike yesterday was just immediately trying to get me out every round, and I didn't do anything.
I was like, if I suss Ben out, you fucking vote him. And they're like, really? And I was like, you don't understand. If we think it's him, you got to get rid of him now. Yeah.
There was one time I walked down a hallway, and Mike was like, "All right, we got to vote Ben out."
Yeah, I was like, fuck, he got too close to me. Yeah. The best part was like, there's a clip now of me from last night where we voted Ben out, and I was like, fuck, at least there's only one killer left. We're all good, man. And I walk into a room and immediately die. I was like, at least Ben's gone, and I just fucking died like right after saying it.
Karma.
Yeah. No,
speaking of clips from Mike, Let me.
Oh
see
yeah, yeah.
here.
Go on, let's share this. Yeah, this is good. Ice Wallow Cum.
Me too.
That's my favorite part because everybody was like waiting for me to like react, and it was just fucking silent. And I'm like, I don't know what to say.
And then, I don't know who that was, but someone's just like,
That was
"Yeah,
Gabe.
me too, man."
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. I like we were in Florida when Mike was streaming and everybody was trolling him in the chat. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write that in the chat. I think it was Josiah's idea.
Yeah.
So then I did, and then Mike said it, and it was just
I didn't. I saw it pop up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly." what
Mike
this is.
had no shame at all with that.
Yeah.
He just dove right in with both feet.
Yeah. I was like, "Hey man, what do you?" Yeah,
right into the pool.
right into the pool.
Loved it. Loved it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be the wrap up for the stream for this week.
We talked about two things.
I know that happens every time.
They were
We
big
have like
topics,
a whole list
Yeah, they were.
of topics we're going to talk about, and then we get through like two things. But that's good.
Yeah,
that means that we can fill out good conversations with what we got. So,
Absolutely.
make sure that you guys go follow all of these guys on YouTube now. They all have their own
Yes.
channels.
Well, I don't have
And
my own channel. What are you talking
Disbrew.
Mike's out of Twitch,
Oh yeah,
though.
Mike's on Twitch, so you'll have to go over there for that. But
about?
I mean,
Ben,
if I get
Ben
enough,
has his own channel now. So
if I get
make
enough
sure-
subscribers, then maybe I will stream like an old classic game or something, because that's about all my computer can run.
Ben, go subscribe to BPick Ben over
That
on
be epic, Ben. Wow.
B pick Ben. Go check him out.
on
BPick
YouTube.
Ben.
There's the link to his channel, and I dropped the links earlier for Disbrew and Mike as well. So make sure you
Yeah.
check them out. I appreciate all of these guys, and yeah, that's going to be it
Real quick.
for this week. Yeah, what's up?
Real quick, I wanted to answer this real quick because
Yeah.
it's just a little movie thing.
Mhm.
Rob Joms, I don't know how to pronounce it. Who's looking forward to the new Snow White with the Jewish Queen Gal Gadot and Latina Snow White? I love that. First of all, the costume looks like shitty cosplay. That makes me really fucking happy. Also, I love that they were like, listen, just because her name is Snow White doesn't mean she has to have pale skin.
Mhm.
Latinos can be it. And I was like, that's not the issue. The issue is that you cast somebody that's uglier than the
Yeah.
the witch.
Yeah, by
You
far.
by
Like,
far, you
Seriously.
cast
Yeah.
fucking Gal Gadot. I'm like, I'd rather
Yeah.
stare at her for hours. And I'm like, listen,
it's
Great, she's-
it's really hard to beat Gal Gadot in beauty. Like that's
yeah.
that's
And I'm
insane.
like, she's supposed to be jealous.
Yeah.
What is she jealous of?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the comparison pic for that.
I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just like, listen, if you're gonna cast Gal Gadot, you got to cast somebody that can look just like her or better,
Mhm.
or a unique feature about her. Like, I don't know, Snow White fucking skin. But what do I
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just a guy that I don't know, read Snow White and watched it, and but,
I just
Oh,
don't
man.
like Snow White, so I just don't care.
yeah. Well, that's
I'm sorry.
That's where
I-
I am. I say,
I
but it's
literally
like
just
more of
don't
the same.
care. Yeah, I
You don't care about
Ben,
Snow White?
you don't care
No.
about
The classic.
Did you even
Snow
watch
White-
the new Cinderella on Amazon, Ben?
Why do you hate women, Ben?
They cast a gay black man as the
Oh, I
you know,
remember the. I remember
as the
the
fairy
clips.
godmother.
The only
fairy god person.
the only true Cinderella adaptation is the one with Lily James, and I will not be told otherwise. That movie is delightful.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett is the stepmother. and
Yeah,
she's
it's
fucking
amazing.
gorgeous.
Wait, isn't this
So-
the one where they've got rid of the 7 dwarves as well, or is that something else?
Yeah, no, this is the one. Yeah, there's 7
Oh.
Wait.
magical creatures.
Yeah, no, never mind. I just Snow White is my least favorite Disney animation. I
Well,
don't
guess
care
what,
about it.
Ben? You're gonna watch this one because there's 7 magical fucking creatures in it, bro.
Probably not.
Gonna
'cause I-
watch it, Ben.
Probably
How are they
not.
going to wake her up? Is it going to be like the prince is going to come by with an air horn or something? Is like, I can't
Do
touch
I
it.
have your consent? I have a written form here. If you could please fill it out. No,
I mean,
she'll probably wake herself
Someone
up.
with a drum next to her just hitting it 24 hours a day. Wake
Yeah,
up!
She'll
I just-
probably wake herself up with the power of self-love.
I don't know anything about it, and I don't really care to because I
Yes,
just
you do,
don't.
Ben.
I don't like Snow White.
Yes,
so
you do, Ben.
no, you
How do
can't
you
make
not like Snow White?
you
It's a
can't make me
classic.
care about Snow White.
I can make you care about
It's a
something.
Just
freaking
because
Grimm's
just because
fairy tale.
it's literally the most boring, bland, just in general, like princess movie there is out there.
But this is
Wow.
like made for you then, because they've got rid of Snow White. They've got rid of the. I didn't even mean it that way. I mean, this isn't Snow White. They've got rid of Snow White.
Shit.
They've got rid of the 7 dwarves, and they've got rid of the prince kissing her to wake her up. So this isn't Snow White. They're just
Oh,
taking
man.
a name. That's it.
I mean, it doesn't sound. I mean, I guess I'd have to wait and see a trailer, or even just see the
I
freaking
just-
movie. But I don't
I
really
love that
care to
this
see
person's
the
like,
movie.
Ben, this is made for you.
I didn't mean it that way.
I'm sorry. I
Amazing.
don't care about Snow White.
So good.
Sorry.
Wow.
Did you find the picture?
I can't find it. No.
I
I'm
don't
trying.
know where it is either, but
But
But yeah.
Oh, they're gonna give it like a poisoned Apple iPhone or something. That's what they're gonna do.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
modern day
Yeah.
Snow White.
yeah.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty was great, but you know what is a desecration of that story? Maleficent. So we won't
Oh,
talk
okay, I
about
found
that
it.
now.
I found it. Here we go.
Wait till you see this, guys.
All right. Here we go. Watch. Check this out. Check this out here. This is So just keep in mind that the stepmother is supposed to be jealous of this.
Mhm.
And like, okay, listen. Maybe that's a super, super unflattering pic of her. But either way, like even at her, I'm sorry, like it's Gal Gadot.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's not that I
you
don't
just
think
can't beat Gal Gadot. You
it's
just
it's
can't.
Rachel Zegler, right? I think she was in West Side Story.
Sure.
It's not that she's not attractive. I just think that like Gadot is like the most beautiful woman on the planet. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little hard.
According to AI, Amber Heard is, but then she shit in the bed. So
I don't understand that
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, that
it's
definitely.
it's her symmetry for her
Mhm.
face. That's supposedly it. But yeah.
Yeah.
AI is like she's the most beautiful woman in the world, but it obviously didn't know that she took a dump in a bed. So
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
That's enough to make her never attractive ever again.
once they learned
No.
that, it was like, oh, wait a minute, she did.
I'm sorry,
what?
I'm not into that. So
Well, I don't think anybody else was either.
there might
There'll
be some.
one guy. One
There's
guy
probably
There might be-
some-
yeah, there's one
She's
guy,
my
he's like-
perfect woman.
Yeah, hell, little do you know, she's actually hotter than me now.
There probably are some people that are
Actually, Ryan from RK Outpost is pretty okay with that. So, yeah.
Of
Really?
course he is.
So,
All right, well,
Are
there
we
you
saying
go.
that just to start a rumor about Ryan, or are
no,
we saying that
no,
'cause
he,
it's
he
actually true?
legitimately said that.
Are you serious?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
Yeah.
a
Oh,
comment.
mercy.
Yeah.
I can
Like, hell-
actually, the problem is I can see it.
You can take a shit in my bed, like I give a fuck.
It
Like,
just
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
My favorite thing about the
Frickin-
story is that Johnny Depp didn't
frickin'
even
Ryan.
find it like the cleaning lady did. So it,
Oh,
it
yeah.
didn't even have any impact on the person
Uh-huh.
she was
Yeah.
intending it to.
Yeah.
Now he just gets to make fun
exactly.
of her about it forever. Yeah. Well,
Frickin'
my
Ryan,
favorite part
dude.
too of that, just as a side thing, because I know everybody's sick of hearing about this case, but there was one of the guys they had on there. They were questioning him about the hashtags, and they were reading all the hashtags like hashtag
Oh.
Amber did something wrong, hashtag Johnny Depp is free, or free Johnny Depp, and then he goes, what about hashtag Amber Turd? Is that yours? And the guy goes, yes, I also did that.
I
And they
think
read
we're supposed
Amber Turd out loud, and I was like, "You're the fucking lawyer."
so funny, man.
Like-
That is hilarious.
And
Oh my
behind them, you
gosh.
see her lawyer. She's like looking down straight, and somebody goes, as if I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah, like, well, why would you read that out loud? Yeah, so
That
Amber
is
Turd.
amazing. That
That's
is
a good
so
movie.
good. I
Yeah.
love it. I think we're on Tuesday we're supposed to get the final word
Verdict?
about all of that. So
We'll see.
Ooh,
yeah, it's gonna be
spicy.
interesting. Okay, I want to ask you guys who do you think is going to win this case?
Oh, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
If he loses, it's
I-
a goddamn conspiracy.
With how I don't know much about it. I'm gonna be honest. And like I said, I guarantee you they've both done some pretty terrible things. But from the outside perspective of the things that I have heard, it sounds to me like Amber Heard and her like lawyers and everything else have been really stupid.
Really
So-
bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been
So
really bad.
I
Yeah.
think that like that alone is
Mhm.
enough like
My-
reason just from my limited
Mhm.
perspective. I think that like that alone is like pretty like damning evidence almost.
My concern about this is that Amber Heard apparently wanted to seal the identities of the entire jury for up to 12 months.
Holy cow!
So, and that's coming from Amber Heard. She was the one that requested that.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little bit concerned about where the jury could be going. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what they say.
I mean, I guess only time will tell.
I'm sure we'll probably be talking about that next week. So
She shit in a bed. She should lose automatically. They
My
should have
God.
just said, you know what? You took a dump in a bed for any reason at all other than like I have some severe health issues. No, the case is done. Get out.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Comrade Commodore with a $2 super chat. If jury rules on law alone, Amber probably wins, and that's my boy. And he's been following it very closely. He's been following everything with this very closely. So,
and unfortunately, like the justice system isn't the best. So there's problems there for sure. And that's where it comes down to a lot of stuff like that. Like my dad was a lawyer. He probably would know a lot more about it than I do. But it's just there's just a lot of problems in the justice system. There has been for a long time.
What if she wins and her next response is to like take a shit on the desk right now?
Oh my God.
Just the moment it happens,
just on
celebration.
Yeah, she just gets on the desk, just drops trout and just drops one right on the desk. She's
on,
like, I'm
on
out.
live television.
On live television.
Double jeopardy,
Like,
can't be tried for the same crime twice.
You already know I did it once. I'll do it again.
Just totally owns her new identity.
Mhm.
Amber Turd. See, that's her villain arc. This is
Yeah.
her villain arc.
It's a
Amazing.
superpower.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Crazy
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, thank you so much everyone for coming out. We really
yeah.
appreciate it all. It was awesome. Fantastic stream. We broke 200 viewers on the stream, and that was
Hell
awesome
yes.
to see.
Heck yeah.
So this stream is growing, and it's just going to continue to grow as we continue to build this thing. So thank you so much everyone for coming out. Thank you for all of the support, the super chats, and everything else. And we will catch you all in the stream next week at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll catch you all later. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.